All right. Well, welcome to day 3 of the Launchathon 5-day masterclass. Welcome back. We're super excited to have you joining us again. If today is your first time joining us, welcome. We're excited to have you here. We've really designed the masterclass, the 5-day events, that each one kind of stands on its own. So if you missed one or two, you can easily catch up wherever you can join us. And they are being recorded. So, at some point we'll release those recordings as well. But who has done their homework? Yesterday's homework was really to go and really assess your current sales funnel. Right? Who are your clients? Who are you selling to? How would you describe your perfect client? And then what are the items that you have in your sales process? How many of you decided you've had just way too many or are going to make some changes to all the different things that you're offering? Any ahas, any comments about that?
Well, I realized that for the low ticket, I probably got enough between the 41 and then between the book. I got that little workbook. I have the 20 experts and that little 50 or 43 little 1-minute tips.
You have a lot of low ticket and a lot of early little things to get people.
Right, and I never realized to put them together, but now I got it, ladies.
Got it. All right, Albert. Beverly.
It's interesting because I had to get off before you said what the homework was, but this is something that I've been doing, just exactly what you said. So I took my my offer that's leading into that webinar, as a $27 package, and just really clipped it into one thing, into one thing, into one thing, and really tested my words out on Google to see how many thousands of people or millions of people were actually asking for that certain word. And so I funneled it in that way to make it really tight. And then I did a little minute video using some of those same words to just throw it out there now so that it can lead its way to the to the main one. And I also did the same thing in the second half for the webinar of what was going to be in there and just made it crystal clear. I've got my list all scrunched down to the exact person that I'm looking for and where they live, right? So that I can reach out to them. So that's kind of good. I already had it done. Yay.
Nice. Bonus points, right? Bonus points for
Bonus
that.
points. Thank you.
Anyone find any holes in their funnel? Realize that they had a strainer instead of a funnel?
Well, I had more than a strainer. I had a big hole in the bottom of it till I figured it out.
I know I have a strainer instead of a funnel. And, like I said, I've been working with you, Melanie, try to go to the funnel mode instead of the strainer mode. But I had a lot of aha moments, mainly the aha that I need to get my act together and start putting my stuff out there because I've got so much, but, really hadn't formatted it to a point where it could be like low ticket, medium ticket, or low tickets that could be bundled together. And so I've got a new strategy now that I've learned some things.
Yeah, and Wendy's in an interesting interesting lane that we didn't talk about yesterday, in that she has 3 verticals, right? So she has the health sector, taxes, and what's the third one, Wendy?
The book and all this financial cure stuff. That's
right.
A whole different, yeah.
So your financial wealth. And so, her tax clients aren't necessarily the same people who need health insurance. However, most people that pay taxes need health insurance. So if they just knew that Wendy specialized in that vertical as well, then they'd be more apt to work with her versus somebody they don't know because they already trust her in this one area where she's helping them. And so this brings up a new way to market people in the lateral, right? And making sure that your people know all the other specialties that you have. They all fall seamlessly under your overall umbrella so that you can cross-sell. So,
And we'll work on that. We'll work on that.
We're working on that, right? We're building that. Well, so it is like, as we've taken the last 2 days to really get your before picture of where your business is at so that we can streamline it. When we created the acronym CALM, C-A-L-M, we create it, we automate it, we launch it, we monetize it. And so this is helping us in that creative. We have so much, like piling on more and doing more is not necessarily the answer. We're already so busy as entrepreneurs. We're running around. There's so many opportunities for exposure and visibility and engagement and content creation and relationship building. Like podcasters, we're writing, we're speaking, we're like serving. So we don't want you to feel like, okay, this is one more thing I'm piling on. This is really streamlining everything that you have built up until now. And so it's really exciting to see, look, I have all this content. I have all these social networks. I have all these databases. I have all these places that I'm connecting with people. I have a lot that we have built on. And so now we're going to turn that into really this lifestyle, create it, automate it, launch it, and then monetize it. And that's what Launchathon was really all about. Last year, we brought in, we hosted our first ever Launchathon. We taught this workshop in 2 hours instead of 5 days. And so it was a lot of information to gather. And then we were able to work with, we brought 10 different authors and entrepreneurs into Launchathon for a 6-month program so that we could systemize and streamline your funnel, right? Your funnel throughout the process. But what we discovered is the very best through all of our experience, the very best low ticket item that kickstarts all of this, brings your intellectual knowledge, the content that you already have, that you have built up, and you have it in so many different places, that triggers that low ticket offer and brings people further into your streamlined sales process, is to publish a book, to become the author of what we are calling in Launchathon your course book. And there's many different types of books, right? If you're thinking about, and if you've already written a book and you are an author, you can type down, write those books in the chat box. Say, I am an author working on my next book. If you've, how many of you published? If you're working on your next one already, want to just tell us in the chat where you are. And the very best way to promote your current books, like books that you already have, is really to write your next book. But there's a couple different styles of books that most people kind of fall into. And the first one is what I call your heart book, right? Your heart book. And it's usually like love songs, poetry, your breakthrough experience, your breakthrough journey, your story, cookbooks, recipes, right? And it's usually a passion project. And most people, when I ask them, do you want to be a published author? They're like, yeah, I've got a book in mind. And it's usually a passion project. And the thing with a passion project is we don't usually monetize it. And you've probably heard from stage, many people say that there's no money in the book, right? That all of the money is in the back end, in the sales funnel. However, it's like, yes, there is. Yes, there is. There is money in the back end, right? There's money if you're speaking, there's money in attracting higher ticket clients into your sales funnel, into getting paid to speak. Like, there's a lot of money in the back end. But there's also money in actually selling your book. And so
Especially
this-
when you're behind it, Angel. I can see the second one. I'm actually making money, thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I was at an event this weekend and there was a publisher who was sponsoring the event. So like a traditional publishing company. And, we were talking a lot about publishing. I encourage publishing. I've published 15 books. And so even if you have 1, 2, 3 out there, I always say that they start to flow out of you like water. So number 1 is your heart book, and love that you have a heart book and a passion project inside of you. But in most cases, most authors with a passion project sell less than 500 copies of their books in their lifetime. And so they're not necessarily money makers. There's something you were called to do and felt to do, and you sold to a handful of friends and family. Maybe you just passed them out, but it was really more of a bucket list item. Like, I want to be an author, and so I published my book and check, I did. And so that's really where I call a heart book. It's a passion project. The second one I would call a food book, right? The book that puts food on the table. And in this case, during Launchathon, we kind of take that and put it on steroids, because we create the book that actually sets you up as the expert to encourage the readers to go through your programs, right? To take your course. And so it sets you up as the expert to teach the course, to get them into your sales funnel, to buy more of your programs and your services. So it's a very specific funnel, right? It's a very specific piece of the funnel. And the nice thing about the course book, right, if people want to pick your brain, right? What if I could tell you everything that you want to know, all the frequently asked questions I'm going to give to you, right? For $20, $25, $27. Oh my gosh, yes, go and buy the book. And so tonight we're going to talk about how valuable having the book is as part of the sales funnel, the initial piece of the sales funnel, how we can leverage that to monetize. Because here's the thing, what if I told you, like, if you think about the revenue goals that you want to make this year, and you think about the average ticket price that your clients spend with you, how many clients do you need to bring in, number 1, to hit your revenue goals, but then even to expand? Like, if I wanted to make more than this amount, how many more clients would I have to bring in order to raise my revenue? And what if I told you you could raise your revenue without adding a single new client to your calendar? And that is the value of hashtag Fund the Life. We came up with that during our last Launchathon, Fund the Life. So if you think about, so often when there's something we want to go and purchase, we want to spend money on, maybe we want to pay off a credit card, we want to invest in a program, we want to take a vacation, we want to buy new software, upgrade, hire staff. We think, like most people, right, looking at a menu, like, how much is that going to cost, right? We're looking at the price tag. But if you instead thought about it of, how many books would I have to sell if I wanted to say yes to this? And here's some really fun numbers for this, folks, right? 7 books. If you sold 7 books a day, that is a $50,000 revenue. That's $50,000 in sales. That's a nice side hustle income. I was at an event this weekend. Almost everybody who spoke from stage were authors. And at the end, everybody was selling books at the end. It's nice, like play money, right? Like, here's today money. But the numbers start to get really, really juicy when you start selling your books. And so we would do a math equation of, how many books do I need to sell? When we do our bestseller campaigns, we don't do it to manipulate the algorithm. We turn you into bestsellers by teaching you how to sell books. 200 books a month is $5,000 a month in income. How many of you could use an extra $5,000 a month without having to add other clients onto your calendar? You don't have to make room for this. That was the piece for me. It's my free time. It's my time back. I'm at this, stage of life where I'm like, I don't have more time to throw into it. I've been aggressive. I've been the hustler, right? We've been super aggressive in filling our calendars. Well, now we need to create the lifestyle. And being a published author opens up the funnel. It opens up doors for exposure in media. It elevates your credibility. It connects you with journalists. It's the number one way to create media exposure and attract publicity and attract speaking opportunities and interview opportunities. All the things. It's kind of weird to be able to say, well, if I could do one thing to grow my business, if I could do one thing that's going to give me the visibility, it's going to give me revenue, it's going to attract more leads, it's going to create influence, it's going to get me booked on stages. If like all the things, if we could say, most of the time, like there's not one thing, you have to do all the things. But truly, all the things that we want are discovered and can be found when we create and publish the right type of book with the right type of funnel behind it, the right exposure in front of it, and the team that we can lock arms with to promote it together. And so that's what Launchathon turned into last year. 12 people, entrepreneurs who had a book inside of them that had been putting it off and saying, I want to, I will, and someday, and I'll get to it, who said, we want to come along together and we're going to do it together and hit all the milestones all together, hold each other accountable, cross through the finish line at the same time with a published book as a bestseller, selling books with a built-in sales funnel, the squeeze page, the ads, like everything kind of all built in all around it. And we were able to hit that milestone on August 29th, which actually was a world record. Now, we haven't got the official statement from Guinness, but it was a world record to help 12 authors. Nobody's ever done that before. They've created that with 12 people in one book where everybody has a chapter in a book and they all become bestsellers, but each with their own individual 100-page book. And I was going to say, I have the stack of them. I'll make sure I'll go get them before we go tonight. But we're going to talk about, right, tonight, it's all about the course book and how to monetize your entire sales funnel, leading with your course book.
That was a lot. Wow.
It was a lot.
Thanks, Angel. So one thing I love about this is when you're in corporate, when you're pulling a paycheck, and you think about all the things that you need to spend that paycheck on, you take your paycheck and you budget out for those different buckets, right? You have a budget for groceries, you have a budget for frivolous spending, you have a budget for, and Wendy can list all the things because this is her avenue, not mine. But the point is that you have a concrete bucket of money that you can disperse over these various budgets that you need to spend money on, right? Funding college educations, groceries, like I said, things like that. And where Fund the Life came from was, honestly, we were sitting poolside in Mexico and we were loving life because we had just started this new health routine. And we were thinking about our new health routine and this new program that we were launching that we sort of felt like by combining our expertise was kind of an easy button for entrepreneurs. And we were kind of feeling proud of ourselves in those moments and thinking about what could this really mean for entrepreneurs? Like what would be the big aha moment, the big, like, why would you want to do this? And we were thinking, well, what if you could fund whatever it is that you're saying no to? What if you could say yes to everything that you want to do in life, because you can just simply set up a funnel to quite literally fund the budget for that thing. And we were talking about, I could set up a beauty regimen fund. I could set up a vacations fund. I could set up a massages fund. I could set up whatever floats your boat, right? But just the fact that you literally have the power in your hands to just say, I want that, and I'm going to create the funds to make it happen because that's what I deserve in life.
Does that just like sound so juicy, right? Like you could have the power like to, and we say this is selling your knowledge, not your time. You have so much knowledge, you have so much goodness that we give away, that we share with our clients, with our leads, with our network all day long on phone calls and social media posts and videos, speaking and interviews and conversations in our blogs and our newsletters. There's so much information, there's so much content that you have that we could monetize it. Right? We can monetize it in a way that you create it once and then you forever have something that will create the lifestyle, and you can have a little juicy fund. My first book I published in 2009, so that was a lot of years ago. It still sells today. In December, was it December? I think we sold like 50 copies of it in December, in a book that I published well over 10 years ago, that I still, I mean, some months it might only sell 5 copies, right? But it is still creating royalty revenue. What do I have to do? I don't have to be present for that conversation. I have it listed on an online site. And tomorrow we're going to talk about leveraging these online like behemoth platforms to help you promote to get your low ticket offer out there. But I mean, seriously, she's put, this is Connie's book list. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful book, right? And so this was one of our authors that went through Launchathon. And this is what we did this summer. It's heavy, right? It's helped all these authors become, get a message out that they wanted to put out. I always had wanted to write. I wanted to get this out. And we gave them the formula and the camaraderie, right, to go and do it all together. But truly, if you have a book now, this is a great piece to your sales funnel. If it is the book that sets you up as the expert, we can set that up on the beginning, on the front side for the exposure and the publicity and the automation for into the funnel, and automate that whole process that then turns them into higher value clients if you want. But even if this is the only thing you sold, 200 books a month, that's 20, like if you did 2 interviews, if you did 2 speaking events, if you did 2 book signing events, if you were on podcasts, if you were doing any media or any speaking, 25 books each time, that's 200 books a month. 100 books a day is $1 million. That to me, like when I was doing some math and we were like figuring some of this out, you can say there's no money in the book. But if you're not selling the book, if you're not talking about it, you're not leveraging it, it's not part of your sales funnel, you're not leveraging this low ticket item, you're missing out on really free money. Free money. It's your knowledge, your juicy goodness. And people buy books. People buy books all day, every day, all the time. Friends who don't know how to support you now, they will buy your book. Strangers who've never met you, they will buy your book. People who've just heard you speak and just met you, you have a book, where can I buy it? That you become an international global superstar as an author, and it opens up and puts you in the top 1% of Americans. 84% of Americans wish they had written a book, have a book they want to write, but only 1%. Now it feels like that's, in our world, because it seems like everybody we know is authors and has written multiple books, but less than 1% of Americans are published authors. And so this puts you into the top 1% of America. And I know many of you are authors and you've already published your book. having your course book, having the book in your funnel, and leading to your other programs and all this other stuff that you guys already have created is the perfect first domino. Beverly, you raised your hand.
Yeah, when you're talking about the books now, is that so when it's a printed book, are they gonna buy it through Amazon? Or do you have to have a stock of books then that you're gonna be sending out to them? Or is it a Kindle version? What's the difference between all of that when you're looking to do what you're saying to put it out there to monetize it?
So the answer is yes. Right? The answer is yes. Kindle versions, paperback versions, print on demand, using the print on demand resource through Amazon, you selling books, yourself through back of the room sales at book signing events. The answer is yes, you can do all of the above. There's no limit. You could have the audio version, you could have a paperback, you could have a hardback, you could have the ebook. So yes, we leverage all the ways that you can sell your book, because that's really what sets this apart. Is we want you to sell books. In order to kind of get this whole ball rolling, we want you to have a nice little bucket of people that will go and buy your book right out of the gate. If you sold 200 books when you first publish your book, and how many of you know 200 people, right? They say that the average person knows 250 people. That's the average number of people that show up at a wedding and the average number of people that show up at a funeral. Now, of course, this is all pre-COVID, right? And so the average person knows 250 people. So if you had 200 people that from out of the gate in your first round went out and bought your book, that's $5,000 in sales. Now, with anything in sales, do you have overhead? Do you have pay commissions or affiliate fees or printing costs, or, are there expenses in products and services? Yes. So when I talk about that number, like that's $25 times 200 is where I got the 5,000. And so we do teach the whole system from start to finish on how to monetize that and where, how to leverage that for sales. Did that answer your question, Beverly?
Yeah, and so so we're charging $25 per book? Is that
Yes, ideally.
Beverly,
Okay.
I can answer that real quick because Angel set it up. It's simple. On demand, because I'm the numbers dude, before I do a webinar, I make $9.75 on Amazon print on demand. You make $3 on Kindle, and you're not doing nothing but sending it out there. That's how the numbers go quick. On a $19 book, I make $9.97 on hard copy and writing about $2 on Kindle, and you're not doing anything. You can buy the books, the paperbacks. I bought 10 with shipping and everything, came to $302 per book. So sell it whatever you want, and it's like it's $20 a pop.
Right. And Albert's got a brick and mortar store, so he can have them in-house.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime. Like, I want you are now your own. I mean, as an author, you have the ability to make money every day. Let me just like you have the ability to make money every day. You can go out and sell them in person, right? Wherever you go, meeting people along the way. You can text people, I call it ask, invite, tell, beg. Ask, invite, tell, beg. Do you know 7 people that you could ask, invite, tell, beg to go and purchase your book? Right? Like we all do. You have the ability, and selling a book is the easiest thing in the world to sell. It's like not even selling. You could be at an event where, and I think I said this the other day, you have 10 speakers, and if 10 speakers all got up and they were selling, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 products, at the end of it, you would be like, oh, it's just one sales thing after another. Like it's just a selling thing. But if 10 authors got up and talked about their books and the value in their books, and you're like, and you can come and buy my book at the end of it, nobody feels like, oh my gosh, that was such a sales pitch. Because it's a $20 to $25 purchase, and I'm walking away and I know the author and I'm taking my picture with the author. Even if you have a podcast, even if you have an amazing Facebook community, even if you have the largest Instagram following, the fact that you are an author, I got my picture with the author. Oh my gosh, I know the author, and they signed the book, and it's nothing else competes with the product of being an author in any other space. Albert, you wanted to say something, or are you just agreeing with me?
Yeah. So the first time Angel and I did this, after our books were published, and I was meeting up with some family that I hadn't seen in a really long time, my cousin introduced me or reintroduced me to her husband, thinking maybe he had forgotten who I was, as the best-selling author of an Amazon book. And he was like, oh, you're an Amazon author. Well, what's your book about? And she says, it doesn't matter. She is a best-selling author. End of story. Go buy the book. And so, that has just happened over and over again. I actually was at an event. A person approached me, wanted to go on a date with me, and said, hey, just in case you say no, I bought your book. As if it was going to sway me to say yes or no. but that is the power of being an author. You just have this like instant celebrity status and this instant approachability, right? Like people are like, oh, I need to go meet the author. And their in is to get your autograph. And let me tell you, lots of people say it's the best business card. You know why it's the best business card? Because if you sign it, they feel guilty throwing it away.
People don't throw away books. They might pass them along. They might, give them a new home. People do not throw away books. So anybody that tells you that this is an oversized, look, I've got Albert's book here, that this is an oversized business card has not written a book. Right? Or they're not leveraging their book. They're not selling it. They're not monetizing it. And it's truly, when we did our launch-a-thon, they're like, well, are you gonna discount the books for the bestseller? No.
Why? Are you going to discount yourself? No. Like
you are worth $20. You are worth $25. And so this is that, sometimes we don't recognize what our value is. We don't feel like that we are getting our value or recognize our worth. And the book allows you to just stand on the shoulders of so many giants that have come before you as authors. So we're keeping that bar raised. And when you're selling them through speaking and through interviews and PR, the value is incredibly high. It is incredibly high. They're not going around and it's not the same as going to a bookstore and they're trying to choose a book. Like, no, I just heard Wendy talk. I'm buying Wendy's book. There's no, well, should I get her book or this? No, I heard Wendy speak. I'm buying Wendy's book. I heard Beverly speak. I'm buying Beverly's book. Like, it's an easy yes. And for those of us who maybe like don't love selling, like, it's not our favorite thing, feel uncomfortable asking for the sale, especially as you're creating some of these higher ticket items. Selling a book is you're going to be like, look, dude, if you're not going to spend $20, go away. Like, get out of my space. Like, you're not worth my time. Like, easy filter, really easy filter. Because if you're not going to spend 20, you're not going to spend $1,000, right? You're not going to be one of my high ticket. So it's a super easy filter. And then even if it's somebody you're like, I don't know if this is a really great fit, or if I don't, where do I fit? And is this going to be, you know what? Why don't you start with the book? And you can give them away. They're great for giving away. They're great for adding value and getting out into the world. And you do you. But I promise you, like, look at this fabulous book from Carolina, who is pregnant with her number 2 baby, by the way, in case you guys didn't see, she posted it on Facebook. I mean, these are beautiful books. People don't throw them away. And I will tell you, I published a book, and I mean, I had a woman who was with the Brighton Chamber of Commerce. And now the Brighton Chamber of Commerce, little commerce outside of Denver. And they were planning their annual luncheon, and she was brand new, had just gotten the job. She was unpacking her office, and she had these boxes were packed for 2 years. And as she's unpacking these boxes that had been boxed up for 2 years, out of it comes my book. It had been in a box for 2 years, and she pulls it out and says to herself, I wonder if we can get Angel to be our keynote at our luncheon this summer. The book had been in a box for 2 years. Who knew like how long it had been, before she had ever looked at it. And she opened it up. I ended up getting to do the keynote presentation for that event. There were 200 people there. It's where I got introduced to through a series of things. In fact, I think Melanie, you got to speak there, but Molly Campbell was part of the Brighton Chamber of Commerce. And you guys just got to see and hang out with Molly at the Media Mastery Master Camp in October. She's got an amazing story. The book opens doors. The book is amazing, but having the book coupled with the sales funnel, the lead page, the opt-in, the strategy, the automation, the scalability, it's a package deal. But I promise you, 100 books a day, it's $1 million. How much of that pie? Hashtag, how many books do you need to sell in order to fund the life? What is it that you want to do that you could pretty much print your own money? I mean, does that just light you up and, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm actually going to publish the book. I'm going to monetize. I'm going to take all my content. I'm going to figure this one out this year. I'm going to finally do it. I'm going to take the pieces I already have in my sales funnel and streamline it and allow the book to be that first domino to drop people in and bring them into my sales funnel. Is this helpful? Is this good stuff?
Angel, I remember speaking on stages pre-pandemic, and I was early. I was maybe 4th, 5th, less than a dozen stages, right? And before speaking and selling from stages, selling programs, I did educational stages. So I'm not new to the speaking world, but I am to the selling programs from stage arena. And so I was at one of these small business expos, and I was up there and I was doing my whole spiel and I was listing out my laundry list of credentials. And at the end, one of the guys in the audience says to me, "You have a really impressive resume, but I'm not going to buy anything from you until you write the book on it."
I don't remember hearing that story.
Because I never told it to you.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah. Okay, I got to get on that. Right. But the point is like, I have some credentials behind me. And he was saying, screw those credentials. I want you to write the book on it. And that is how people feel. It's just how people feel. When you become the author, you become the instant expert in whatever it is that you wrote about. And so that is why this becomes the perfect entry to your funnel and why you can have a book per funnel, because you're leading them into you being the expert in this content. And the next stage in this funnel is for you to teach them your expertise. This is why we're calling it the course book. And it's not like you're teaching the course in the book. It's the book is setting you up as the expert to teach the course. And so they're going to come. So the first few stages of this funnel are all passive. So you're going to make money off of the book. You're going to have, how many of you are affiliates? Put up a hand raise or put a 1 in the chat. You're an affiliate for something, anything, doesn't matter. You're just making money off of somebody else's products. Yeah. How would you like it if Amazon, Google, Apple, and Facebook were all affiliates for you.
For you.
For
Did you
you.
catch that? Right? If they were all affiliates for
For
you.
you. That's
Got
what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So not only are you going to make money off of your book and you're going to drive sales to your book, but we're going to show you how the 4 empires can be your affiliates to help you sell that book. And then you're going to convert those people into participants of your completely digital passive course. So you're making even more money. You have a seamless progression into the next phase of your funnel. And then you can filter out and choose which ones you're going to move on to group coaching and eventually private coaching. So you see where we're going with this masterclass series and how you're going to start funding the life for all of those amazing quality of life buckets that you want to add to your.
Yeah. So your homework tonight is, as you guys have the items in your sales flow, is what would the course book be? What would that book be about? Who is it for? And what will they get out of it? And then also, what will you do? How will you fund the life? What are some things that being an author and having the ability to create this passive revenue stream, how will that make a difference in your life? What are some things that you've been putting off and you're like, I need to make more money. I don't have time to bring in more clients. If I could hashtag fund the life. I remember hearing this story about John Lennon. His family wanted a pool, so he said, I wrote a song, right? So what are the things that you want that instead of having to bring on more clients, I need to rethink the way that I'm currently writing my book? Not necessarily, Carrie. So we're going to take your great intellectual property, and there are just some tweaks to it that we can put in that set you up as the expert to help your clients come in to the sales funnel. So you still, even if you have your heart book, right? Your book of passion, what do you want people to do after? What are we leading them to? And make sure that we lead them to inside of this book. And we'll talk more about that. But right now, I just want you guys in this space to go, oh my gosh, like, look what opportunity I have. All this content, all this intellectual property. No, we don't do the passion book first. We do the course book first. Yeah, we want to make money, right? Because like small business owners, you guys know it, right? We're busy, but struggling. We're spending as much, it's going out faster than it's coming in. It's not that we're not making money, but in many cases, it's just going out faster. This allows us to create an opportunity where we've got money coming in on a consistent, regular basis. And so this is book number 2 in the Financial Cure series that Dr. Wendy Labatt did during the launchathon. She's got her 3rd book in the series. But business owners struggling, right? Where's my next client come from? Every time I would go to a small business expo or speak at a business expo, the workshops that filled up the most were always the ones on how do I get more clients? Like, how do, it's always marketing. Anytime we do like a mastermind or something, and you're like, what do you need the most help with? Sadly, they're like, I need more clients. I need more people to, hear about my programs. I need more people to sign up for my course. I need more clients. If you have the low ticket item of your book to get people to fall in love with you, right? I would always call it like a 100-page love letter to your clients, like getting them to fall in love with you, getting them to fall in love with the programs that you offer, wanting to work with you, that they feel like when they read it, you get them, right? This is your chance to really connect with not just the reader, but the potential client that is in there. And so the struggle will no longer be, where do I get clients? Wendy, right? She's like, I've got my books. I'm speaking. I'm doing my 2 interviews a week, my press release a month. I don't even have to look for stages anymore. They're finding me. they're coming to me. I need to automate more of this. I need to scale up so that it's not taking all of my time. And so that's what we're setting you up for success, is that you can have this millionaire, calm millionaire lifestyle. We're going to create it. We're going to automate it. We're going to launch it, and we're going to monetize it. All starting with your fabulous intellectual property. So what should, if you look at your sales funnel, what should be that first domino? What would that book be that gets people excited about it, engages them, gives them value, starts to give them results, gets them to fall in love with you, to experience what it would be like to work with you, to establish you as the expert in this space? What would that book be about? What would that book include? And then as an author with the ability to sell 7 books a day, 10 books a day, 100 books a day, to create that lifestyle, how would that change? What would you do? How would you design your ideal life around being a published author?
Yeah, you created your vision on night 1. So break that down. What does that look like? If you had that vision and you're funding all of these buckets that feed up into that big vision of your ideal perfect life, what's 1 or 2 of those buckets?
Beverly, you raised your hand.
Yeah, you made this so simple. I mean, I wish I had known this several years ago when I published my first book. Oh my God. You know, I just want to say, let my firefly in tomorrow, because I've got recordings tomorrow for the podcast, and it's like, I don't want to miss what you're going to share tomorrow. So let my firefly stay.
I will let your firefly stay. Yeah, tomorrow, if you know anybody that has published, wants to publish, leveraging, we're talking about the 4 giants: Amazon,
Google,
Google,
Facebook,
Facebook, and
and
Apple.
Apple.
How to turn them into affiliates for you. I mean, it is
Juicy.
folks.
Yes, I don't want to miss it.
Right? We do not have to work as hard as we are. And this is one of the brilliance behind I'll get to Wendy in just a second. This is one of the brilliance of having a Melanie in your life. She comes from Harvard. She has this amazing brain for technology and optimizing and keeping things simple. And when she became an entrepreneur less than 2 years ago,
Right.
she's like, why is it hard? Why are people struggling with this entrepreneur thing? It should not be hard. In fact, let's find out, like, how do we make this easier? And so when you take all the things that we've learned, honestly, if you start to look at them, it's like, it's distractions. Like, here's a shiny thing and here's a squirrel, like keep you on the hamster wheel. And then Melanie comes along and says, well, we can automate that and we can simplify this and we could scale that and cut. I'm like, girl, you're so brilliant. And so we have Melanie, and that's why it's so simple. Wendy, you wanted to say something or ask something?
I did. I wanted to just comment on the value of the book. No matter where you are, even if you aren't speaking, if you're just introducing yourself to someone, when you talk about, my books, I carry them with me all the time in my purse, in the car. And I always, say, hey, I've got, a book series that I've published. And next thing you know, especially if I'm at an event and I get to introduce myself, people are coming to me saying, look, I want to buy your book. And now that I have 2 books, the last event I went to, I was selling, 1 for 20 or 2 for 35, and people were buying both of them and they were hunting me down, say, I want your book. I want your book. So, it's just that kind of thing. And, Beverly, I'm sending you and Nicole my book because I've been on your podcast. So anytime I'm on somebody's podcast, I send them a book. And it's a good way to have people, learn about you and what you do, even if it's after the fact, but, they always, pass it on and talk more about it on their podcast. And it's just, it's like I said, it's better than a business card, and it's less expensive than a business card because it gives more information. But once you get a book, even if you're not speaking, whenever you introduce yourself, when you say you're a published author, it just, gives people a different perspective about you.
And another thing that it does for Wendy, which I really love, is that it gives her husband the ability to brag on her and sell her books for her.
I mean, my mom finally, right? Like she has no clue what I do. Doesn't know how to explain it, doesn't get the whole entrepreneur thing. Somebody even asked her, like, well, does Angel even own, does Angel own her own business? And my mom said, and this was like 6 months ago. Well, she talks about it. I'm like, Mom, wait, what do you think I do here all day long? She's like, I don't really know, but you don't really run a business. I'm like, okay, right. But she knows, but she's an author and she will buy my book and she'll tell her friends to buy books. And right, my dream is to retire my husband. I got to do that, Carrie. I got to do that 2 years ago. It's kind of weird, right? But an awesome opportunity. We want you to just dream with us that you have the content, the knowledge, you're giving it away now. You have the pieces of the puzzle already, but they're fragmented, right? I'm doing this over here and I got this happening. I'm collecting. I'm kind of like, we're frazzled. And because we're frazzled, it's not a seamless, streamlined way to create revenue. But when we bring it all together we start with the low ticket offer, which is brilliant, set you up as the author, and then bring people through your sales process. They get it. They know how to refer you. It's easier for you to attract clients. You know where to start them in the process. You have a yes, you have a no, you have a late, I know it seems like surreal to think that a book can be the answer to so much of what we've been struggling with as entrepreneurs. Like, how do we really get there? But we've seen it time and time again. And it's, oh, Mom, Angel doesn't run a business. Yeah. She's like, yeah, right. I don't know what this is. But you will put yourself in a whole new space and you will never regret. Like, it's one of those things, like we always regret what we didn't do more than we regret what we did do. You will always love having forever, right, your name on a book as a published author, whether that's your first book, your second book. Sharon Lechter has published 25 books. I've published 15. You never, like, you're like, well, I've already have one. They are just as exciting. Everyone is just as precious as the one before it. It's like your children, right? Some of them might be a little more favorite, right? Not as sassy. But yeah, it doesn't matter. My 15th book, when I got it in the mail, like I was just as emotional over book number 15 as I was over book number 1. And it's a beautiful process. And the fact that we got to take so many people on the process and on the journey together was just beautiful. It was fun. It was effective. It was profitable. It was successful, but it was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful opportunity. So
yeah, it was an amazing day. So just like a phrase, like the publishing a book, becoming an author, becoming a best-selling author, these are one-time events, but they give you lifetime of title, right? So once you publish a book, you will forever be a published author. You only have to do it once. And once you become a bestseller, you will forever be a best-selling author. So you only have to actually do this event once. I love this efficiency. You only have to do this once and you get that title for life. And you're going to want to do it over and over and over again. But, the fact that you get the title for life and you actually only have to do it once, it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
okay.
Any questions?
Just want to make sure you got the homework is the same. So one is I want to make sure my first book, what I wanted to be about and what I wanted to include. That's the first one. And then the second is how would I design my ideal life as around being a published author?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the tips there. Appreciate that.
You are so welcome. Well, we will see you all tomorrow night for day 3. No, this was day
4.
3. Day
Day 4.
4.
We're
Day
we're
4.
past the halfway mark.
We
Oh.
are super exciting. So 16.
I did have one more quick question before you close out. At the beginning, you were making some remarks, Angel, about the recordings and things. I missed the first couple of minutes. Is that something you can
Yes.
quickly
We
highlight?
are recording them. So if you missed, because I think you said you missed
So
yesterday.
yesterday's, yeah, I missed yesterday's.
And yeah, and I know Chelsea did as well. So we are recording them and we will be making them available to you, although I don't know that we have a schedule for that.
Okay.
But
I'm going to start releasing the master list tomorrow, and then we'll add the last 2 days to the master list. So it'll just be a playlist, and you'll get to choose the videos you want to watch or read.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
you
Yeah.
are so welcome. And as long as you are registered on Eventbrite, if you have anybody you want to invite, if they sign up on day 4 of the Eventbrite, there's an Eventbrite just for day 4. Same master Zoom link for all of us. But if you're inviting anybody to join us, rather than just send them the Zoom link, have them register on the Eventbrite so we can send them the recordings. All right, we will see you all tomorrow for day 4 of Launchathon 5-day masterclass.
Woohoo.
Cheers to you all. Good night.
Good night, everyone.